Every person who has ever controlled you used the same small set of buttons. Guilt, flattery, fear, urgency, shame. They did not overpower you. They simply found a wire and pulled it. The Stoics cut those wires 2,000 years ago, not by becoming cold, but by becoming impossible to move without their own consent. By the end of this video, those buttons will not work on you again. 7 habits that make a man untouchable. The 6th one will cost you a few relationships, and it is worth every one of them. But first, you need to see the wire they are actually pulling. Here's what nobody explains about manipulation. No one can manipulate a man who does not want anything from them. Every button they press is attached to a desire or a fear you are already carrying. You want to be liked, so flattery works. You fear conflict, so guilt works. You need to be seen as good, so shame works. You hate uncertainty, so urgency works. They did not install those wires. They just found the ones already there, which means the defense was never learning to spot manipulators faster. The defense is having fewer wires for them to reach. Epictetus said, "If a man makes you angry, he has become your master." The same is true of every button. The first habit: draw the line between what is yours and what is not. Your effort, your standards, your response, your word. That is your pile, and it is small. Their opinion, their approval, their reaction, the outcome. Not yours, and never was. Almost every manipulation works by making you responsible for something outside that line. You made me feel this way. You owe me this. Look what you have done to us. The Stoic hears that and calmly checks the line. Am I responsible for my behavior here? Yes, always. Am I responsible for his feelings? No. A man who knows exactly what is his cannot be handed things that are not. The second habit: never decide at the speed they want. Urgency is the oldest tool there is, because pressure stops a man from thinking. This offer ends tonight. I need an answer now. If you cared, you would not hesitate. Every one of those is designed to skip the part where you think clearly. So the Stoic has one sentence for all of it. I will let you know. Nothing collapses a manipulation faster than a man who is comfortable waiting. A real opportunity survives a night of sleep. A real friend survives a delay. If it cannot survive your thinking, it was never built to. The third habit: distrust praise that arrives with a request behind it. Flattery is not admiration. It is a payment made in advance for something they want. And it works on exactly one kind of man, the one who is starving for approval. So the Stoic keeps his own assessment of himself, and it does not move with the weather. When praise arrives, he simply notes it and checks whether it is true. Marcus reminded himself constantly that fame is noise, and the crowd forgets everyone. A man who does not need to be told he is great cannot be bought with the telling. Be pleasant about compliments and completely unmoved by them. If this is landing, let me say one thing directly. If you are done being steered by people who studied your weak points, subscribe. It costs you nothing, and it is how this reaches the men who need it. Then come back, because the next habit is where most men lose the fight. The fourth habit: learn the difference between guilt and manipulation. Real guilt is useful. It arises when you have actually done something wrong, and it asks you to repair it. Manufactured guilt is different. It arrives whenever you fail to do what someone wanted. After all I have done for you, I guess I will manage on my own. Do not worry about me. That is not a conscience speaking. That is an invoice you never agreed to. So the Stoic asks plainly, did I break my word, or did I simply decline a request? If you kept your word, the discomfort you feel is not guilt. It is pressure. And pressure only works on a man who has not looked at it directly. The fifth habit: get comfortable with other people's displeasure. Almost everything they can do to you depends on you being unable to sit in someone's disapproval. Sulking, coldness, the long silence, the sighing. These are tools, and they only work on a man who cannot bear them. So the Stoic allows people to be unhappy with him without rushing to fix it. He is kind, but he does not buy peace with his own standards. You are allowed to be disappointed in me. That sentence ends more manipulation than any argument. The moment their displeasure stops being an emergency, it stops being leverage. Their mood is theirs to carry. Yours is yours. Now here's the one that actually cost you something. The sixth habit is the one that makes a man genuinely untouchable. Be willing to lose the relationship rather than keep it on their terms. Every manipulator relies on one unspoken fact, that you need them more than you need yourself. The instant that is no longer true, every tool they have stops working. And yes, some people will leave when you stop being movable. Let them. Those relationships were never yours. They were arrangements built on your compliance. The Stoic would rather stand alone with his character intact than be surrounded on someone else's leash. A man who can walk away cannot be held anywhere. The seventh habit: keep one judge and let it be yours. If your sense of yourself is voted on by other people, then whoever holds the votes holds you. So the Stoic keeps his own court with one standard and one question: did I act with honesty, with courage, and with regard for what is actually mine to do? If yes, then he can be disliked, misread, or gossiped about, and nothing has actually happened. Their story about you is theirs, and you do not have to attend the telling. Reputation is a rumor. Character is a fact. When you answer to yourself, there is simply nowhere left for a manipulator to grab. Here is the truth about a man who can be moved by these buttons. He is not a bad man. He is a usable one, and the world is very good at finding those. Every year he spends managing other people's feelings is a year he does not spend on his own life. He calls it being nice. It is really just being available to anyone with an agenda. Untouchable is not coldness. It is simply a man who knows exactly what he owes and what he does not. So remember the seven. Know what is yours. Refuse their clock. Ignore flattery. Carry no invented guilt. Let them be disappointed. Be willing to walk. And answer only to yourself. Do that, and every button they reach for finds nothing on the other end. Not because you became hard, but because there is finally no wire left to pull. If this gave you even one clear look at something you have been carrying, subscribing is how you say, make more. I make these for the man who is done being steered by other people's agendas. Cut the wires, and no one will ever be able to move you again. I will see you in the next one.